Well, hello and welcome back to GearHeadGeeks, where in this video I'm going to be doing a service on the air filter on my H2. This particular bike is running a Sprint F1-85 air filter, and we'll do some explaining about how good of an air filter that is. We'll see how good it filters out air, but this is the most breathable air filter on the planet. So stay with us as we go through the whole operation. So the tools you're going to need for this is I use a 3mm wobble end, 5mm, because there's one 5mm bolt that holds on the side fairing, and I use this guy, which is also 3mm wobble end that I've got on a small impact that goes fairly slow. So basically it boils down to you need to remove this fairing right here. On an H2, it's not a huge job, but it's not completely simple. So you pull these guys out. We'll just put these here. There are two that go down this way. That's why the wobbles work so well. You can kind of get it at an angle. These are two black screws, and they don't have the plastic washers on them. And there's one here, and there is another one right down here that's right on the radiator. And then our 5mm that comes here. Get this guy off. Okay, so this guy's almost ready to come off, but there is one more fastener here. It's a little push pin fastener, and you have to get around and find it and push the pin. And once you push the pin in, then you can pull it out. And I'm just doing it by the braille method, and it's just one of these guys. Okay, so now this is ready to come off, and it's not that tough. It comes right off, but there are two connectors in here that you have to deal with, the rectifier and the regulator. So you gotta, I can't really show you. I guess, let me get the camera in here so you can see. Okay, so move this out of the way. So what we have are two connectors in here, and you just gotta, they're very watertight. So all that you have to do is you push on this little pin here and pop them off. I need two hands to do that though. And I'm just pushing on the pin and giving it a wiggle, and it comes off. And then same thing with the other one. One's gray and one's black, and they seal up tight. It seals up tight in there, and you can see in there. So get this out of the way, kind of get some of the bugs out of it. Push that down there. Okay, so now we've got to get this guy off, but to do that you have to remove this cover up here. Whoops, let me show you. Okay, so to get this guy off, we need to remove this cover up here. So the way to do that is, first thing is you get the easy ones out with this. There's one here. And there's one here. These guys come right out. The problem is this other one down in here. I'll tell you what, it's a little hard to get at. So I have a long Allen with a hex on it, with the ball end. And now you can take this guy This side isn't so bad. The other side's really bad to do. But it just, you don't want to lose that screw because it gets stuck in the wiring down there, and it is a pain to find. So anyway, it comes out, and then this guy just pops off. It's got one rubber dewar on it, and it pops right off. And here you go. No big deal. So we are ready now to remove this. Okay, so there's a 3mm, well, a 6mm, actually it's a 5mm screw with a 3mm Allen head on it, and it's black, and it has a, get it off of there, and it has a plastic washer on it because it's up against paint. Okay, now the rest of these are 5mm. And we'll just pull these loose. Make sure you can see. Yeah. And again, these a painted part, so these 6mm guys have got plastic washers on them. And there's 3 of them. Now there's quite a few miles on this filter, but it's okay. It's not one of those filters that you have to service all that much, because the F1-85 is the most free-flowing air filter you'll ever find. It is, if you look at the Sprint specifications on it, you'll see that it is what they use in MotoGP, and it is a fantastic filter. So this guy pops off now and comes out this way, and it is not terrible in there. I mean, there's a lot of there's some stuff I want to show you about this, but this needs to be cleaned up, obviously. And now we got to get this outer cover off. And this outer cover is the same thing. It's just got 5mm in it. 6mm screws with 5mm heads. These don't have washers on them because they are, actually, yeah, these are 5mm with 5mm heads. Sorry about that. There's one here on the bottom. Now, let me get this guy. Here, and I believe that it's ready to pop off. Oh, another one on top. Sorry about that. Yeah, there was 3 of them. Not that hard to do, just keeping track of things. Okay, so now we'll pop this off. And there's a drain hose in here, and a little oil does come back up inside here. But let's take a look at this filter. It is Bug City in there. They just, bees and whatnot. And the other side, you can see, is perfectly clean. This thing filters like crazy. There's a lot of crud that goes through there. You can pretty much see through this filter, but I'm going to tell you right now, once I go back in here, we'll take a look inside and check for any kind of debris, and I'll bring the camera in close so you can see, and it just blows your mind how well that filter works. Okay, so now I'm going to bring you in close, and the first thing you're going to notice about my H2 is I've got these 3 bolts safety wire. There's safety wire going around here. I drilled these out with a carbide bit and put safety wire on it because these bolts come loose, and when they do come loose, if they do come loose, they will go into your supercharger and give you a whole mess of fits. So anyway, what I'm going to do here is I'm taking my finger and wiping it in here, and I want you to look. There is 0 grit. Nothing. There's nothing in there. And that little black spot on my finger is just the stuff already on my finger. But it's just clean as a whistle. I'm going to take a white paper towel and wipe in there. And look, I mean, it's almost clean. Yeah, there's a small amount of super fine dirt that is present through any air filter, but this thing is sanitary. It just truly is. Get in here, around the supercharger, there is just absolutely nothing. And look at the other side. Look at this side of it. It is just filthy. Now, there's a reason this is just this filthy, and I'm going to explain that after I clean the air filter. So the first thing I need to do here is we'll take a look at this air filter, and it is just nasty. I mean, there's just, but what you do is I'm going to take it over to the garbage can, and we'll just give it a few whacks. Get those bugs out of there. And look, they're still just, I mean, they're just packed with dirt and whatnot. So, how do you clean this thing? Well, I gotta move the camera to show you, so let me do that. But I'm getting most of the bugs out of there by whacking away at it. I think I'll pull this garbage can out so you can see a little better. Okay, and I'm just kind of hitting it and letting the bugs kind of fall out of there. So, unlike a K&N, which is a gauze air system, this is just a super fine mesh with little teeny tiny holes in it that you can see through. But the hole, what you're getting there is a lot of very, very fine holes, but no, almost zero, they're so small that the dirt just doesn't go through them. And it has to go through kind of a labeliness of it. And another thing is there's H2 delivers a little bit of oil just from, you know, sucking up from the vapors coming out of the engine. They get delivered onto the front of this, and that helps hold dirt also. Well, a Sprint filter is by far the easiest one to clean of them all. You just take air and you just blow through it. This is what they tell you to do from the back side. So we got our air filter clean. Okay, now that our filter is all cleaned up, got all the stuff out of it, we just blow it out. And the only thing that we need to do with it, that we're ready to do, this is all cleaned up. There's nothing going on in here. Just making sure there's no debris at all, which there isn't. And I've torn this thing apart where I've taken off all this stuff and there's just no debris in there at all. You just take this, pop it back in, and that part's done. What we have to do next here though is, let me get this off of here. I want you to look inside here. Now, look at the crud in here. Now, why is this so crusty? Why is there so much dirt in here? I mean, it is really, really bad. I mean, it's just really terrible. Well, what I do here to ensure that the air filter gets as little dirt on it as possible that can pass through and fine dust, I take grease and I grease the entire inside of this. I'll get this all cleaned up, and then I'll re-grease it, and I use a big thick coat of grease in here. And if you look, you can see in here, you can see where it is. It's just grease and all that crud. And I also grease this up. All right, so what happens is the air comes in through here and has to make this turn. Well, if there's a bunch of grease right here, which there is, I mean, you want to see something nasty, that's what's in there. That grease, as the air goes by, that grease picks up all the fine dirt. It just leaves, it does I'm going to say 80% of the cleaning that you need to do in your airbox. So what you need to do is any kind of airbox that you have, wherever it comes in and it makes a turn especially, put some grease in there and it will pick up dirt and make your air filter go a lot longer between cleanings. You just get improved performance all the way around. So I'm going to clean all this stuff out. This is really nasty in here. And once it's all cleaned out, then we'll go ahead and put everything back together. Okay, so now I've got this all cleaned up and nice. And I'm just going to take a nice big thick coat of grease here. And I'm just going to smear this around inside here. And I want to cover everything. I want anything that's rattling around in there, any dirt that comes in with the air, I want this grease to pick it up. I've got a nice coat of it. It doesn't need to be super thick. It just needs to be a fairly even. It can be a thin coat, but a little extra, it just hangs on to more dirt. So that is all done. Now let me go get the tube. And I've cleaned up the inside of it because it was really nasty. This is a lot of it comes out of here. So you just go on ahead and you smear that grease around in there so that you get it down in as far as you can. Reach in as far as you can. And just smear the heck out of it. So now we got a nice layer of grease on it. And that grease, any air that comes through is going to stick to that grease. Or not air, any dirt is going to stick to that grease. It makes a huge difference. I learned that from being a flat tracker. And when you end up riding in dirt bikes and desert races and stuff like that, that grease makes a huge difference into how plugged up your air filter gets. Okay, so now again, with everything cleaned up, we're going to throw our air filter in there. Again, we're just making sure, and even a little bit of grease inside here doesn't hurt. And the reason you want a little grease in there, again, anything that needs to come in, and if there's any kind of nastiness coming in, pick it up with the grease. It doesn't hurt airflow. It protects things. It just really works well. So anyway, we got grease on there. So we're going to put our filter in. It's ready to go. We've greased this guy up. So he can now go in. Now there's a drain on this we got to get in there, but it's fairly easy for the most part. It goes right on. A little slippery at the moment because it's greasy, but I get it. There we go. And then this guy just slips on. That's it. All greased up. And now we got these guys that need to go back in. Get that in there. Just get this guy started. Nice and tight. Double check your tightness. Okay, so that's all done and ready to go. Wipe off my hands a little bit. I know, one glove. Okay, now we have this guy, and actually I need to do a little cleaning on the in here. Wipe off everything. Make sure we're clean and nice. Into the places we can't normally get at. Make sure everything's all wiped up underneath. Clean. There's a rubber seal that goes around here. Make sure it's in place. A little bit of grease on it make sure it seals real nicely. And this guy just pops on. And we are good to go. And there's a little hose that I have in here for drainage. And you can then take our 3 bolts. And one here. And here right next to the brake bleeder. And there's another one that goes right here. It's a little shorter. And we can take these guys now and tighten them up. Good. Okay. Now, wipe off everything. Make sure everything's nice and clean. Especially underneath where the fairing is going to cover and you can't get at it. Okay, now we're going to put in we have the one bolt that goes, one little screw that goes in front here, and he just goes up top, and we'll tighten him up with this. Clicks a couple times, and now we are ready to put our fairing on. I got to do a little cleanup here, so I'll do that, and then we'll come back and put the fairing on. Okay, so after a little bit of cleaning, I get everything all cleaned up on the inside here. We need to put these guys back in, and it's just nothing more than taking and putting the black one in the black one and snapping it into place, taking the gray one, putting it into the gray one, snapping it in place, and that's ready to go. And then you just hang the fairing on there. And it goes something like this. And put it into place, and I'll put all the screws back in it. Get this. But the best thing to do here is to get the big one in, because, excuse me, right, get the big one in, because that holds everything in place, and that way you don't worry about things falling down. It's held in place pretty well on the H2. It kind of just, it snaps into place, so it's not like it's going anywhere. So you got that. So this is in place, and then I'll just put the screws back in it. But I think we'll put this guy on first and do a quick cleanup on it. I've got a damp rag that I take. Make sure anything is off of there. And then this guy goes back in. He snaps into place. Snaps into place, and then we just go on ahead and we can go on ahead and put in our screws. And these guys are here. There's 3 long ones and a short one. The short one goes in where the tank is, and the longer ones just go here, here, and that one that's hard to get at. So let me see if I can get my hand in there. Yeah, I have to come around the other side and just get it started by hand, because again, you don't want to drop this one in there. That is a pain in the rear. It gets caught up in all the wiring and whatnot, and you can't find that thing forever. So I got that all started. We'll take our long driver, get him fastened down. Done. We may as well do these with this. We can do it with the, well, we'll just do it with this guy. Run these guys down. Good. And now we can go ahead and run these guys in. And one click on this, this is not a real strong impact. This is a very light guy, and you get it to click and you're perfect. Okay, then we've got, get this guy in. And we now have these 2 guys which go in the top. Guy in there. Let's get this guy tightened down. Good. So that's all done. We've got one more little guy to, actually, I got this wrong. This guy goes in the bottom. This is the guy that needs to go here. And now we'll put this back here. Okay, so everything is all done there. All the screws are back in, and the only thing left is this little push pin. And I can do that by the Braille method. I can feel where it goes. You push it in, snap the pin in, and it's done. So there we have it. We have done the air filter on this thing. It's only a few minute job. A few little extra things that you have to do to get it done, but it's not a big deal. But greasing up the inside of this, greasing up the inside of everything, cleaning up that air filter, you're good to go. And that's all there is to change out the air filter, clean up the air filter, or service the air filter on a Kawasaki H2. It's a relatively simple matter, no big deal, but that Sprint F1-85 air filter is just fantastic. This bike's got almost 90,000 miles on it, and I've been running that filter since it's almost been brand spanking new. So it has just done a fantastic job, and every time I've changed it, I can wipe my finger in there and I feel nothing. It's less than you see with a paper air filter or any other type of air filter I've ever used or seen. I mean, I was a motorcycle mechanic for a dozen years, and I mean, I have literally serviced hundreds and hundreds of air filters, and none of them are as clean as this. This is just ridiculously clean, especially since an air filter you can see right through. And if you go look up the Sprint specifications on it, you're going to find out it is the best breathing air filter that's ever been made. It's just fantastic. So anyway, that's all there is to this. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and we will see you here next time on Gearhead Geeks.